Hey everybody, we are excited to be in Tuscany right now in the beautiful town of Lucca, and we're going to talk about residency. So if you wanted to live in Italy, what is it going to take to actually come here and live? And Julie and I will tell you, we've had viewers tell us all the time, they've applied to come to Italy, they've been declined, things have happened, they've been turned down, and they end up doing the shuffle, Schengen Shuffle, and they'll run over to Montenegro, they'll run to other countries and do 90 days in and out of Italy. But we've got a professional here whose family has been living in the city of Lucca where we are right now for over 800 years, and he has helped a lot of expats with their dream of coming to Italy. And you know, I'm sure many of you are sitting there have had the dream of living in Italy. I think in America, if everybody did a survey that wanted to live in Europe, Italy would be in the top 3 of 90% of the population. At this point, we're going to talk to Tony about residency and his experience, and you know, maybe he can help you achieve your dream. Tony, thank you for joining us.
Thank you to give me this opportunity. Hello everybody. So I believe that if you want to come to relocate here as expats, there are ways to do things in a proper way. Of course, there may be difficulties on the way, but there is no obstacles that cannot be overcome in time. So, my expertise is just to help you to go through these possible roadblocks and helping you to fulfill your dream.
So one thing I found interesting is, you know, we've had viewers that have owned homes in Italy get turned down by the local consulate in the United States that they go to. They go to there to fill out their forms. They get denied for whatever reason, even though they think they've got all the boxes checked as far as finances. And we even had one lady who owns 5 homes get declined by the consulate in Miami. And you know, what was this person thinking in Miami? We don't know, but it seems like Miami seems to come up quite often as a problem place for people to come to Italy. However, you told me an interesting story about a lady that was at the Miami consulate and had an issue. Can you tell them?
Of course. By the way, this was a young lady. Was not even a retired lady. So she was a bit out of the frame of the regular elective residency visa applicants. So she went to the consulate with all the documentation about income, about house, etc. And then she called me from there crying, saying, I've been rejected. So I told her, please go for lunch, go back in the afternoon and see if there is a different officer. I present exactly the same documentation. This is exactly what she did. She went for lunch, she went back to the consulate in the afternoon, and she was approved.
Wow.
So
try.
Don't give up, because you know there is a margin of discretionality in the decisions of the consulate officers. If you get the wrong guy in the wrong day, even if your papers are okay, they might say not.
Maybe he didn't sleep well.
Exactly, or maybe he had an argument with the wife. We don't know. No?
Yes.
So that's a fact. Unfortunately, that's a fact.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I did a search because first off, it seems like every time we look for the criteria of what you actually need to come to Italy, it can differ based on the region you're looking at. Right now here in Tuscany, you know, I would say this might be an easier region to get through just because we have Tony here to hold your hand and help you out. But what we understand, and this can fluctuate, you're looking for approximately 31,000 euros a year of income that you need to be able to show, and if you're bringing a dependent, you need to show another 20%, so potentially about 38,000 euros in income to come as a couple, 31,000 as a single. Can you tell us about what you see as the type of income is going to qualify?
Of course. Let's say something about it, about this specific amount that is set. This is not really what the Italian government wants. The Italian government says by law that the applicant for elective residency visa should have, I quote, enough money, so not setting any specific amount, but enough money to live in Italy without working and support himself and the dependent. So this enough is giving power, again, of discretionality to the officer that is examining your application. But anyway, given that there are some specific consulates that are setting the standards, that is 31,000 plus, whatever, that is true. And what I see in my experience, people come here with a visa, approved visa. This money can come from pension, retirement, social security, revenues, dividends, simply savings, and they have been accepted, and they come here with a visa. We can start the process, the necessary documents to stay.
So the key here is to get through the first hurdle of getting to your consulate and getting the
ERV, Elective Residency Visa.
and they need to get that first, and then you help them once they get the ERV, and you can talk to them, of course, before they go for the ERV, but then they would want to have everything set over here, and you would help them get everything set up, because there's confusion about what they need as far as
Very
I
good.
need a lease, I need a house,
Very
I need
good.
all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Please talk
So
about
basically, let's divide the issue into first, what are the requirements to get the visa, which has basically two, which is money, as we said before, and a house. A house may be a house of property that you have purchased, so you have to show a property deed, or a lease. You have to show a registered lease agreement, already registered in Italy. This is the condition. But there are also people that are coming here simply as a guest. So there is somebody granting with them, granting that they have a place to stay, a house that is large enough, and attaching the documents of the host. Sometimes they are approved even in this way. The point is that they should show that they are staying somewhere, not in the middle of the road or under a bridge, obviously, and not in a hotel as well. It should be a permanent residence. So, when you get the visa and you satisfy these basic requirements from the consulate, when you come here, day one, I'm here for you to follow you all the steps, the needed steps to get your residency permit, which is called properly Permesso di Soggiorno or permit of stay. That is the document that is allowing you to stay here for the time that you want.
You explained something to me earlier that I think will put a lot of people at ease when we look at doing a lease here. And let me say, the town we're in, first off, if you haven't been to Lucca, haven't heard of Lucca, you need to check out this area because I think it's going to check most people's boxes for wanting to live in Tuscany, in a beautiful town, a beautiful city. But you are really honed in on helping in this region, which is going to be able to help somebody out immensely with potentially finding the place. But what you explained was that a person might have to have a place for a year, and we have people that are reluctant to say, I'm going to go to Italy, get a lease for a year, and I don't even know if I'm going to be approved. And I think the way you explained this to me, and I'm going to reiterate this, you tell me if I'm wrong, you said that they can come here because people are going to learn about a place, they're going to come here and they're going to rent a place when they come, come here as a tourist, they'll come here for their 90 days, then maybe they'll go back to the United States to get their ERV, spend the next 90 days there, and then they can come back to Italy, have their next 90 days, even if they were disapproved, they can still come back and spend another 90 days here as a tourist, and then they can still get out at least 90 days early potentially, so they're only really out
So
3 months.
basically, in Italy we have three kinds of regular lease contracts for house, excluding the touristic one, of course, no? But just, regular lease contracts. They can be 18 months, 4 years plus 4, or 3 years plus 2. But this length of contract is committing only for the landlord. The tenant, according to the contract, of course, there will be a negotiation with the landlord, with a 3 months notice, can just go and stop in the contract and live in the house. So, of course, out of fairness, if your plan is to go away earlier, depending on the visa approval, etc., you might mention this to the landlord, just to be fair, no? But anyway, by law, it's something you can do.
So, but it also sounds like if you did get disapproved, wait a couple days and go back again, and just keep going. Maybe you just irritate the heck out of them until they say yes. They say, okay, I want this man to stop showing up, so we will finally approve you.
Exactly. So if you are bounced the first time, don't give up. Try again. I've seen people that now are here living happily in Lucca in Italy. They've tried 3, 4, 5 times. Eventually, they've been approved, and the documentation was always the same. I can tell you.
And so I'm thinking somebody might be saying, well, I really want to buy a house.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be stuck in 12 months. So you're saying they could come, they can tell the landlord, look, I'm only looking at 3 to
Yeah.
4 months. They find their home, and then they're free and clear to move on.
Exactly. As
That's
far
great.
as the lease is at least 1 year, because this is the requirement. Then you come here. If you are approved, okay. You might even decide to change house. Maybe you might consider the possibility to purchase a property. But when you're here, you can look around and visit the place properly. You have a place to stay. So it's pretty flexible. No, it's pretty easy. This side of the
That's
story.
great.
So once the ERV is approved, they come back and they have the
Permesso di Soggiorno. Let's say permit of stay.
So
Yeah.
so what all are the stumbling blocks there? Because you're going to hold their hand through
Yeah.
some of this stuff.
Let me tell you the process. No? So when you come here with a valid visa, you have 8 days to kick off the process. The process to get the permit of stay or permesso di soggiorno is done in 3 steps. Step number 1, application at the post office. When the person is applying at the post office with the proper documentation, the post office is generating 2 things. First, a provisional resident permit or permesso di soggiorno that can allow the person to stay for the time being, even beyond the 90 days. The second thing that the post office is generating is an appointment for fingerprinting at the immigration office. That is the second step, fingerprinting. So when the time is over, when the time of the appointment is there, sometimes after months, you go, or we go to the immigration office with all the documentation. If everything is okay, the person gets his fingerprinted and presenting again the documentation. And then after that, just waiting, maybe a couple more months, and then the permesso di soggiorno, the resident permit, will be ready and delivered. From that moment on, the person can stay. Generally, for elective residency visa holders, the resident permit or permesso di soggiorno lasts 1 year. At the end of the year, the permesso di soggiorno resident permit has to be renewed, but you don't need the visa again. You just renew the permesso here with the same procedure: post office, fingerprinting, and picking it up. This for 4 years. At the 5th year, you can apply for the permanent one. Same procedure, just is lasting forever. You don't need to go back again the next year to renew it.
So I want to come back here because I actually think I want to encourage people to look at this area. This is really feeling like Italy here to us. In some places we go through Italy and different parts of Europe, sometimes it doesn't feel like the country that we're going to. It's got a different vibe, and this really feels like the Italy I think a lot of people are dreaming about. And the cool thing is, it sounds like there is an expat community here, but the expat community is really working to be a part of the society here. So if you're coming over here and you get to know the expats that are coming here, it's not like in some places where the expats just hang out with the expats and there's no interaction, but you actually get a vibe of a connectivity with the town. So you have the some of the Italians here that would integrate with the expats and vice versa. So you get together with the community and you get to learn about people's trial and error and learn from them. And so you've been working with a lot of the expats here. And this is actually how I found out about Tony. Is an expat had a success story, and I was looking for somebody that can has a proven success and knowledge of how to get residency in Italy. And so Tony, can you talk a little bit about the community here?
Yes, of course. Here in Lucca there is a large expat community, but let's say that is not really evident, this phenomenon that is called gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know what is a gentrification?
Yeah.
So basically a old town that's becoming void of locals completely.
Mm-hmm.
Is becoming just a tourist place. No, Lucca is not like this. Even though there are a lot of expats, there is also a huge community of locals. They're still living here, and the two communities mingle together. There is a lot of intercommunication for 3 reasons. First, because the expats are coming here just entering the frame of mind of mingling and be absorbed by the local culture, etc. Second, there are a lot of mixed couples. like Italian spouse with foreign spouse. So this helping the integration. Third, many of the locals are used to foreigners that speak English. So this is helping a lot, the intercommunication. Of course, the expats, they have a club here that they meet every week. They have interaction among them. That's normal. It's normal. But it's not so secluded. It's very open.
That's wonderful.
Almost like a cultural class. People get to learn about the region based on others, and so you're sharing knowledge, sharing experience, because you don't always get the local right off the bat that says, hey, foreigner, let me be your best friend and show you around. So integrating through the expat community kind of opens some doors, and you find the people that have time to spend with the foreigners.
Without a doubt. Now I have a question. We always ask residency experts, as I understand it, you have to spend 183 days or more a year in Italy with a residence permit in order to continue to renew. Is that correct?
So the law says that the Permesso di Soggiorno, that's a resident permit or permit of stay, very good. Generally, we are speaking about specifically elective residency holders. Now, of course, this is not the only visa that may be processed. You might come here on the basis of a study, student visa, or digital nomads.
Yes.
But let's concentrate on ERV, that is the most common.
But just to be clear, if somebody is looking for these other visas and coming here to stay, you can help this other bucket of people too.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if I can open a parenthesis, you spoke about ancestorship. No? That is the application for citizenship. No?
Yes.
So-called iure sanguinis, that means through blood. No? This is another process that a lot of expats are using here, and they are successful, and they're becoming dual citizens.
What is the minimum requirement of showing ancestry to be able to become a citizen with ancestry?
Okay, there is now the law has been changed. Now, before the law said that the basic condition was that your first ancestor that moved from Italy to the States had or never naturalized or naturalized after the birth of the next in line. Okay, very good. Now they've modified the law recently, last month.
Oh, no? Last month?
Yeah, about 2 months ago. Anyway,
new news. Okay, let's
I've still to understand clearly how does it work. Now the requirements is that the next shouldn't be younger than 18 years old when the first one that moved got his American citizenship or Canadian or Australian, etc. So they complicated things a bit. Okay. No? That is the basic condition at the beginning, and then there is all the documentation to be shown. That is birth, marriage, death, and divorce certificates of everybody in the lineage, apostilled, translated, and legalized.
So it's a lot of work, but it can be worth it.
I believe so. Generally, what I suggest for people that apply for citizenship based on ancestry, to come here with another kind of visa, to take their time to process the citizenship. If not, they might come here to be squeezed in the neck of a limited time, because if you come here without visa, you still can stay on the basis of your application for citizenship, but you have to kick it off within 3 months.
Okay.
If something happens, you don't find a house, there is an issue with documents that they require you to get other documents, you go beyond the 3 months, is a problem.
So I think we probably should circle back to what I was asking about minimum time. So you were mentioning about the permesso.
Okay, so let's close the parenthesis of the citizenship.
Yes.
That is a very complicated. Let's go to the normal permesso.
Okay.
So the law says, so we are speaking, let's go back to the beginning. We are speaking mainly to elective residency visa and elective residency permesso di soggiorno or resident permit. Generally, this is issued 1 year at a time.
Okay.
The law says that in order to keep the permesso di soggiorno or the resident permit valid, the holder should stay in Italy at least the half of the length of the document. So if it's 1 year, the person should stay in Italy at least 181 days in that year. Generally, in the past, this rule was often overlooked. So nobody ever experienced the problem. Now with the new system of electronic tracing of passports, unfortunately, I had a couple of experience of my clients. They came here after staying away 7 months, and when they went to apply for renewal, they've been rejected.
So, did they leave the Schengen? Because right now with the borderless travel, say between here and Croatia or Slovenia and in Austria, Switzerland, France, it seems like nobody's checking your passport.
Exactly.
So if you stay within the Schengen,
that's
you're probably
okay.
safe. It's if
that's
you're
okay.
flying out. And
Of course, even if you go to UK, because at that point your passport is traced. No.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good point. So I think a lot of you, if you're coming to Italy, you actually want to live here. It is a really cool place to be. Taxes, of course, are a concern after somebody's been here for 183 days. How can you tap dance around telling us about the taxes for foreigners when they're here?
Okay, I don't dare to give specific counsel about taxation because I'm not a tax consultant. Tax is a very sensitive matter, and there are things that I say they might be arrested for, so I prefer not to talk too much about. But anyway, what I see, that taxes apparently with the hundreds of expats living here is not representing an issue for anybody. So I assume, and this what can I tell you officially, there is not a big problem. For details, look for a good tax counsel or accountants, especially expert in international law taxation. He will direct you properly to what to do and not to what to do.
Great.
Yeah, if you'd like to talk to Tony, of course, we're going to put you in contact with him. All you have to do is send us an email, and we'll email Tony and introduce you guys. But speaking with Tony, he can help to point you in the right direction with the right experts as well. So I think you're going to do your best to be a one-stop shop to help people between real estate and getting the answers they need to apply and come here and get them into the right location and to keep them out of trouble. So
well, I was speaking to him about relocation, and Tony does offer a service if you're looking in Lucca, only Lucca, where he can help you find an apartment for that lease agreement that you need. And to me, that's gold.
Yeah. So of course, we always advise people not to do a remote search, because what you see on screen sometimes is not really what it is. No, we might have a wrong impression that when you come here you become disappointed. But anyway, somebody's doing this. So we book the appointment with the real estate agents. We go to see the houses. I put you on video, and we look at the property together. You ask as many questions you want. I will be your medium, your interpreter, and then you might even decide to do a house search in this way. Even though I recommend to come here in person, maybe for a period of time, 1-2 months, to get the property personally, to visit the property in person.
Yeah. This is a really wonderful community. So it's moved way up on our list of places we would consider for Italy ourselves. And I like the beach. Your beach is not too far from here. How long does it take to get there?
Half an hour driving. You go to Viareggio, Torre del Lago, Forte dei Marmi, Livorno. Some of these places are very touristic, crowded. Some others are wonderful, quiet, and nice.
So half hour from a sandy beach too,
yes.
Right? So it's not like the pebbles or the rocks. You got real sand at the beaches.
Wow.
So it checks a whole lot of boxes for Julie and I, and definitely if Italy is a contender for us, this is an area of high interest. And if you're looking at Italy and you haven't decided where to plant your flag, Lucca is definitely a place for consideration. If
you want to talk about food and wine, I believe that tonight you will be still here talking about it.
No? Oh, super. So, Tony, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for this opportunity.
So as a reminder, Julie and I, we're traveling with our 2 dogs, trying to see what it's like to live in different countries, different places, trying to share our experiences and expenses, and we'll talk with the experts, try to give you the answers of how to live somewhere. We hope that you're going to subscribe, give this video a like. Don't forget to join our expat SlowMad travel group on Facebook. And until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao.